Uzbekistan. Welcome to the global trail, blazing paths across our world. Imagine a land where ancient Silk Road caravans once traced golden dunes, where towering desert mountains guard cities older than Rome, and where the bustle of bazaars still echoes with secrets of empires long vanished. This is Uzbekistan, a country of 448,000 km superscript 2, yet much of its expanse is wild desert and rugged peaks, making its green oases all the more astonishing. Home to 35 million people, it stands as Central Asia's beating heart, where every grain of sand whispers stories of conquerors, scholars, and traders. Visitors arrive in Tashkent, a Soviet-era hub reborn as a modern metropolis of 3 million souls. But what they didn't see coming was the moment they stepped beyond its broad boulevards into ancient Samarkand and Bukhara, where majestic madrasas gleam under sapphire skies, and every tile is a poem in mosaic. Here, gold isn't just mined, it's woven into silk carpets. Cotton fields stretch like snowy seas. And the Aral Sea, once among the world's largest lakes, lies as a haunting mirror to nature's power and fragility. Would you blaze this trail into a land where past and present collide? Type Trailblazer if you're ready to uncover Uzbekistan's hidden wonders. A land beyond maps. Where is Uzbekistan? On a map, Uzbekistan sits squarely in Central Asia, landlocked between Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan, Afghanistan, and Turkmenistan. But its real borders are drawn by sand seas, snow-capped peaks, and flowing rivers that carve fertile oases from the desert. To the north lies the vast Kizilkum Desert, its red sands shifting under sun-scorched skies. Southward, the Pamir and Tian Shan Mountains thrust jagged ridges into the heavens, their glaciers feeding the rivers that sustain life below. Between these extremes lie the Fergana Valley, a green cradle where cotton fields and fruit orchards paint the earth in vivid hues. Rivers like the Amu Darya and Sir Darya once fed the great Aral Sea, turning Uzbekistan into a Silk Road powerhouse. Though the sea has receded, its salty bed remains a stark monument to human ambition and nature's might. But what they didn't see coming is how these landscapes shape Uzbek identity. In desert towns, life revolves around mosque halls and market rhythms. In mountain villages, snowmelt dictates planting seasons. In every corner, water is both treasure and lifeline. Uzbekistan isn't just a pinpoint on a map. It's a tapestry woven from sand dunes, riverbanks, and alpine meadows. A land where survival became civilization, and where every horizon invites discovery. Where traditions whisper louder than time. Silk, spice, and pilaf rituals. In Uzbekistan, tradition isn't museum quiet. It's bazaar loud, spice rich, and woven into every fiber of life. Step into a Navroz celebration on March 21st, and you enter spring's grand symphony. Families prepare shumalak, a sweet wheat sprout pudding, stirring giant copper cauldrons in dawn's first light. Children dance around fire-lit bonfires. Elders chant ancient verses praising renewal. But what they didn't see coming was how this 3,000-year-old festival still binds communities, weaving past and present into one joyous tapestry. Wander into a carpet workshop in Bukhara or Samarkand and watch artisans spin silk and wool into story-filled rugs. Each knot carries a symbol, an eye to ward off evil, a tree of life, or a star for guidance. Tourists snap photos. Insiders know these carpets are living memory, passed from mother to daughter, each thread a whisper of centuries. Then there's the ritual of plov, Uzbekistan's national pilaf. In city squares, massive kazan pots bubble with rice, mutton, carrots, and secret spices. Villagers gather, tasting spoonfuls before dawn. A single head of garlic placed upright in the center is both garnish and guardian, believed to protect diners from harm. What they didn't see coming is how a simple dish can unite strangers, turning marketplaces into family tables. At every turn, the call to prayer echoes through minarets built by Timur's grand architects. Their mosaics still catch sunlight, reminding all who listen that faith has shaped this land as surely as rivers shaped its valleys. Uzbek traditions thrive not because they're stuck in time, but because they breathe with it. A modern student in Tashkent might scroll social media between philosophy lectures, yet pause at sunset to hear a muezzin's melody. A taxi driver may discuss oil prices, then laugh as you taste his wife's homemade samsa. On the global trail, we chase tomorrow's frontiers. In Uzbekistan, we learn that history's heartbeat runs in today's markets, homes, and hearths, reminding us that the oldest rhythms still guide our steps. Faces of Uzbekistan, the people behind the Silk Road. Uzbekistan's soul lives in its people, traders, poets, farmers, and dreamers who carry centuries of history in their eyes. In Tashkent, the capital of 3 million, you'll meet students in hip cafes sipping chai between coding sessions, then rushing to bazaars where old men in tubatikas barter over bolts of ikat fabric. These city dwellers were modern fashion yet honor ancient customs, removing shoes before entering homes, greeting elders with deep bows, and sharing plov with any guest. Venture to Bukhara, and you'll find families who trace their lineage to Silk Road merchants. Grandmothers still bake naan, round, oven-baked bread, using recipes older than most nations. They press dough by hand, then slap it against clay tandoor walls, producing bread that crackles with tradition. Their eyes light up when foreigners marvel. Yet what they didn't see coming is how proud they feel to share a piece of home in a single warm loaf. In the Karakol-Paxton region, nomadic herders guide flocks across shifting sands. Their children learn to ride before they walk, mastering horses as deftly as computers. Under star-studded skies, families gather in yurts, portable homes draped in felt, where stories of Timur's conquests mingle with dreams of university scholarships. Across Uzbekistan, hospitality is law. A stranger is fed first. Tea is poured before questions are asked. Hosts offer the best seats, the biggest portions, and the sweetest smiles. Even in remote mountain villages, you'll find a simple guest house where the family insists you stay another night for tea. They say, though you know it's for connection. But what they didn't see coming is how these faces reflect a country in transition. Grandmothers tweet blessings via smartphone apps. Camel caravans share roads with Ladas and Teslas. Young artists remix Maca music with electronic beats. Uzbekistan's people are living bridges between past and future, east and west, tradition and innovation. They remind us that on the global trail, the richest discoveries aren't monuments, but moments shared between hearts, one cup of tea at a time. A costly secret, the price of living in an oasis. Uzbekistan feels like a bargain hunter's dream. Imagine city rent $4, $200/month, market fresh meals $4 too, and a month's worth of utilities for under $1.50. Yet what they didn't see coming was the hidden cost behind paradise prices. Cheap living, rich culture. In Tashkent, a hearty plov lunch under a grand dome costs less than a latte in New York. In Bukhara, a night in a restored madrasa-style guest house can fall below $10. Inner-city trains glide through desert and mountain for pocket change. But bargain rates mask trade-offs. Roads outside major cities can be rough. High summer heat tests air conditioning and healthcare, while affordable, varies widely in quality. Economic freedom versus modern comfort. Wages for local workers average $300, $500/month. fueling youth migration, but also making Uzbekistan a magnet for remote professionals and retirees. Entrepreneurs find low overheads, yet face bureaucratic twists that can slow growth. What they didn't see coming was how easy it is to live richly, yet simply, if you adapt to local rhythms. Hospitality tax. The warm welcome has its price. Hours spent sipping tea in bazaars, sampling bread, and honoring custom can stretch agendas. Here, politeness demands you accept one more cup, one more plate. To decline is to risk offense. The real cost of paradise? Time. Time surrendered to human connection. Would you trade Western convenience for colorful chaos and communal calm? Would you give up speedy broadband for stories spun over samovars? In Uzbekistan, they did. And what they didn't see coming was that these modest prices would buy not just comfort, but belonging, a richness measured in laughter, not leisure. Hidden wonders, what travelers rarely see. Most visitors come for Samarkand's madrasas or Bukhara's bazaars and miss Uzbekistan's best-kept secrets. 1. The singing dunes of Kizilkum venture into the heart of the Kizilkum Desert at dusk, and the sand beneath your feet begins to hum. A low, melodic drone caused by shifting dunes. Locals call it the desert violin. Few tour operators dare bring guests here after sunset. So when the wind picks up, you stand alone in a natural concert hall, the horizon glowing in ember hues. 2. Adarkal Lake's phantom shore, once part of the Aral Sea's tributary. Adarkal Lake now rises like a mirage amid desert plains. Its shifting shoreline reveals ghostly shipwrecks and abandoned fishing villages. What they didn't see coming is how in spring, thousands of pink flamingos descend to feed on brine shrimp, turning these salt flats into a living watercolor painting. 3. Sarmishse rock carvings hidden in the Nurata Mountains lies Sarmishse, an open-air gallery of petroglyphs dating back 10,000 years. Walk among goats and shepherds, and you'll find carvings of ibex, sun gods, and ritual scenes etched into red sandstone. Few guidebooks mention it. Fewer travelers linger long enough to feel the weight of millennia in each groove. 4. The underground mosque of Boysun in the remote Circundaria region. An unassuming hillside hides a secret, a subterranean mosque carved into limestone. Locals slip inside at dawn to pray by lantern light. The cool, echoing chamber feels more like a womb than a place of worship, an intimate sanctuary untouched by time. 5. The Crimson Canyon of Chakrasabs beyond the UNESCO monuments. Chakrasabs hides a red canyon, sheer cliffs of terracotta rock that glow at sunrise. A narrow trail, snakes along the edge, offering vertigo-inducing views of layered strata and ancient caravan paths carved into stone. But what they didn't see coming is how these hidden wonders shape the Uzbek spirit. In a land of grand monuments, it's the secret places where silence reigns and history whispers that leave the deepest impression. On the global trail, blazing paths across our world, we seek the unseen. In Uzbekistan, we find magic in the margins, where dunes sing, lakes transform, and stone remembers stories no guidebook can tell. Festivals, flavors, and forgotten stories. In Uzbekistan, culture isn't locked behind glass. It's tasted in steaming bowls, heard in caravanserai song, and danced beneath ancient domes. Navras, the new year of spring. Each March 21st, Uzbekistan bursts into color for Navras, the Persian New Year. Families rise before dawn to cook shumalak, a sweet wheat sprout pudding simmered for hours in giant copper cauldrons. Children dress in new clothes, elders exchange blessings, and towns fill with music, dance, and the scent of fresh bread. What they didn't see coming is how this festival, born over 3,000 years ago, still unites city dwellers and shepherds in a single embrace of renewal. Plav pilgrimage, pilaf, or plav, is more than a dish, it's a rite of passage. In Samarkand and Bukhara, chefs ladle rice, mutton, carrots, and secret spices from kazans so large they feed hundreds at a time. Strangers share benches. Laughter rises like steam. A lone garlic head stands sentinel in the center, believed to ward off evil. The real surprise? How a single spoonful can dissolve barriers, turning strangers into family. Silk Road echoes. Under the twin minarets of Khiva, storytellers revive tales of camel caravans and desert bandits. At night, the glow of lanterns reveals Makkah musicians, keepers of melodies passed down for centuries. Their songs carry the weight of silk merchants and scholars. Yet what they didn't see coming is how modern youth remix these ancient tunes with electronic beats, creating a new soundtrack for a timeless land. Carpet weaving ritual. In remote villages, women sit in circles weaving Bukhara rugs, each not a prayer, each pattern a map of tribal lore. The rhythmic clack of looms echoes like a heartbeat. Tourists admire the finished carpets. The true wonder lies in the hours of whispered song and shared stories spun into every thread. Camel Festival of Kizilkum. Deep in the desert, nomads gather for a one-day carnival of camel racing, wrestling, and folk contests. Spectators bet on shaggy racers. Elders sip tea in ornate tents. What they didn't see coming is how these hardy beasts become symbols of endurance, linking modern Uzbekistan to its nomadic roots. In every festival, flavor, and forgotten tale, Uzbekistan invites you to taste history, hear its heartbeat, and dance its rhythms. Because on the global trail, we don't just observe culture, we live it one vibrant celebration at a time. The soul of Uzbekistan, what makes it truly unique? Uzbekistan's soul is neither desert nor city. It is the meeting point of histories, faiths, and dreams that span millennia. Here, Islamic devotion and Silk Road cosmopolitanism coexist. In Bukhara's grand Paikoyan complex, the faithful bow in prayer beneath soaring minarets built by Timur's architects. Steps away, merchants haggle over silk scarves and shaded caravanserai courtyards. Echoes of a time when East met West in a single marketplace. But what they didn't see coming is how daily life weaves these threads together seamlessly. A modern student in Tashkent may begin the day with Quranic verses, then study quantum physics in a high-tech lab. A grandmother in Samarkand may recite ancient Sufi poetry while texting her grandchildren on a smartphone. Uzbekistan's architecture mirrors this blend. Turquoise domes and carved portals stand beside Soviet-era facades and sleek new developments. At sunset, the gleam of gold mosaics on 15th century madrasas reflects off-tinted glass of contemporary cafes, where young creatives sip espresso and debate tradition. The nomadic spirit still rides with the wind. In the Kizilkum, shepherds guide flocks under open skies. In the Fergana Valley, farmers follow age-old planting calendars tied to river floods. Their resilience, born from adapting to harsh deserts and mountain winters, is the same resilience that drives entrepreneurs in Tashkent's startup hubs. This is Sabr and Sisu blended, patience and inner strength. It's the calm determination that rebuilt Tashkent after the 1966 earthquake. It's the pride in hand-woven carpets sold in Dubai, the confidence in gold mine beneath the Kizilkum sands, the hope carried in every prayer at dawn. Uzbekistan doesn't just preserve its past, it lives it. Each generation adds a new verse to the ancient song, ensuring the melody never fades. On the global trail, we chase horizons. In Uzbekistan, we find that the greatest horizon is within, a soul that whispers of unity amid diversity, of faith amid change, of a land where every heart carries the legacy of empires and the promise of tomorrow. Some lands roar with monuments. Uzbekistan whispers through time-worn stones and desert winds. As you step away from mosaic-clad madrasas and silent dunes, you carry more than photos. You carry an echo, centuries of caravans, conquests, and quiet resilience woven into every grain of sand. If you could wake up anywhere tomorrow, would it be here? In a place where history lives in bread baked at dawn, where prayer calls drift over ancient minarets, where every sunset ignites turquoise domes. Because what they didn't see coming was this: a nation that doesn't just survive change. It becomes the change, blending past and future into a single, vibrant tapestry. Would you blaze this trail into the heart of Central Asia? Type Trailblazer if you're ready for the next great adventure. Thank you for hiking with the Global Trail. The Global Trail, blazing paths across our world. Stay tuned. Our next hidden oasis awaits.